Paper was like gold in medieval times.
Oh, not tobacco. Sugar.
That everything we thought we knew about the world might turn out to be completely wrong.
In 2003, on a deserted road deep inside Mark Twain National Forest.
There's something following us!
They hear this ferocious thing coming up, and it's chasing them.
It's gaining on us. Can you go faster? Come on!
To their horror, they realize they can't outrun it.
It was black, it had fangs, and it's got red eyes.
This is National Park Secrets and Legends.
Sprawling across 1.5 million acres of rugged highlands, Mark Twain National Forest sits at the heart of the American Midwest. Throughout history, its volcanic mountains and networks of ancient caves made it a natural hideout for Native Americans, outlaws, and gangsters. Today, many believe it harbors something more sinister. Dark forces from the underworld running amok in the wilderness.
When I think of the Mark Twain National Forest, I think of an evil place. I've had nightmares about the place, you know.
2012. Dawn Fawn is driving through a remote area just outside Mark Twain National Forest. It's a place where almost nobody goes. It makes him nervous to be driving there alone.
It's shrouded on both sides by trees, and the forest is over here, and it's a real creepy kind of a place, especially when it starts getting dark.
Suddenly, Dawn notices something unusual with the truck. The odometer has stopped working. And it's not the only thing going haywire on the dashboard.
This gas gauge went all the way down to the empty mark, and the light come on, and thought it was going to die. Couldn't figure out what was going on. Started running really rough and just started having all kinds of funky things going on with the car.
A breakdown is the last thing Dawn needs, especially in this area near Mark Twain National Forest.
It's not really a place you want to be hanging around any longer than you really have to. You get that kind of really heavy feeling. Something's just not quite like it's supposed to be, like people are watching you and stuff.
Inexplicably, the truck starts running again. Dawn wastes no time in turning around and heading back the way he came. Then he gets another bizarre surprise.
About where he started experiencing all these problems, they just stopped. Speedometer started acting right, odometer started acting right, gas gauge went back up to full.
What happened to Dawn Fawn's truck in Mark Twain National Forest? Paranormal investigator Bud Steed is intrigued by the incident. He decides to check out the area for himself. It isn't long before he gets the alarming sensation that something isn't quite right.
I heard this really low, throaty kind of a growl. I don't even know how to describe it. I spent a lot of time in the woods deer hunting. I've been bear hunting, and it was like nothing I'd ever heard before. This was obviously something that was big and not very friendly. It got my attention. It made me feel extremely nervous.
The terrifying sounds get louder. But Bud can't tell where they're coming from. He wonders if he's being stalked.
I was kind of looking around to see if I was going to have to defend myself against God knows whatever.
Suddenly, Bud hears something moving in the woods.
And that's when I looked, and I saw what looked like somebody walking back there. And I thought, that can't be. There's nobody else out here but me.
Even more bizarre, the terrifying unseen creature that seems to be stalking him has gone silent, leaving Bud alone in the forest with the mysterious stranger.
I don't know who it was or why they were there. I I have absolutely no idea.
Thinking he might get help, Bud moves towards the shadowy figure. But before he can reach it, something inexplicable happens. The figure seems to fade away the closer he gets.
And by the time I got back there, whatever it was there, whoever was there, was gone. It was just one of those weird occurrences that you can't really explain.
What did Bud Steed experience in Mark Twain National Forest? What kind of creature was stalking him from the trees? And was it connected to the mysterious stranger? Another harrowing event in the forest could shed light on the question. 2003, a young couple are searching for a campground deep inside Mark Twain National Forest.
I just don't understand it. We should have made it there by now.
They were lost, and they were trying to find their way.
Did you hear that?
They hear what sounds like a wolf barking in the distance. The barking gets closer and closer.
I think there's something following us. What? It looks like some kind of dog. Do you see this thing? It's huge!
It's like no animal they've ever seen.
It looks like a dog, but it's big, and it's black, and it's got fangs, and it's got red eyes, and it's chasing them.
We need to go faster. Go faster!
They're driving as fast as they can, but it doesn't make a difference. They can't outrun the creature.
It's gaining on us!
It's physically impossible for an animal to go that fast. Maybe a cheetah, but this isn't Africa. We're in Missouri here.
The creature chases them for miles.
It's right here! Come on, go! We gotta move!
Before they're finally able to shake it.
They were pretty shook up. I imagined this couple had never been so frightened.
What was it that chased the car that day in Mark Twain National Forest? Brandon Callahan, a paranormal investigator, has a shocking theory. He believes it was an otherworldly beast known as a hellhound.
Hellhounds are a demonic creature that have been called in, usually ritualistically, and they cannot be sent back.
What a lot of people believe is that it is a harbinger of evil, and they could even be guarding entrances to hell.
What can explain the presence of hellhounds and the mysterious stranger in Mark Twain National Forest? Could they be connected with the inexplicable malfunctions in Don Fawn's pickup truck? An incident in 2009 could offer a clue.
The deer were all dead, and the deer were all mutilated. And I'm not talking 1 or 2 or 3, I'm talking like 20, 30.
Mark Twain National Forest straddles the Ozark Highlands of southern Missouri, home to some of the oldest mountains in the United States. In the most remote corners of the forest, it's claimed that vehicles inexplicably malfunction and terrifying hellhounds roam the backwoods. What could account for these strange and inexplicable incidents? 2009. Researcher David Harkins is visiting a local historical site deep inside Mark Twain National Forest. It's the grave of a young woman, Eliza Jane Laycox, who died in 1897.
Why is she buried there and not in the cemetery just up the road? A lot of the locals believe that she was a witch and that she couldn't be buried in consecrated ground. So they just buried her right there, pretty much where her house once stood. It's not a place you really want to go by yourself. Anytime I've ever been there, I've experienced a overwhelming feeling of sadness. Like you just want to break down in tears, just like one of your parents died or something.
He is about to leave when he notices something unusual about the gravestones.
And the stones are almost warm to the touch, even though it was probably about 25, 28 Fahrenheit out. Is it paranormal? Something, with physics? Something in a natural, environment? I don't know.
David's trying to make sense of this bizarre discovery. when he suddenly realizes he's not alone.
I look up, and it looks like there's what I would describe as a man standing, rather tall. I'd say close to 7 foot.
As David stares at the mysterious stranger, he sees something that defies explanation. A sinister light is coming from the man's eyes.
His eyes were red. It's pretty shocking. You're like, did I really see that? You do a double take. And at that point, all you can think of is to get out of there.
But before David can flee the scene, the bizarre figure almost seems to become ghost-like.
Within 2 seconds, it just kind of flickered like sun coming through some mini blinds, and it was just gone.
What did David Harkins see that night? Paranormal investigator Brandon Callahan has a bizarre theory. He thinks it was a demon summoned into this world through witchcraft.
When a coven or a person is practicing some sort of ritual, they will want their area protected, so outsiders won't have a tendency to wander in. So they're going to call in protectors. They can manifest themselves in human form or any other form.
Why would witches be practicing black magic in Mark Twain National Forest? It's believed the presence of witches in the area dates back centuries, inspiring fear and terror among those who live on the outskirts of the forest. Like the story of Molly Crenshaw, a Haitian slave who lived here in the 1800s.
She was accused of hexing some of the locals. The locals got a hold of her, cut her in half, and buried her in different places. And they say that every day, every year, because of her being a witch, her body is trying to put itself back together, so it inches closer and closer. And once 2 pieces come back together, she will once again, like, resurrect.
Some claim that evidence of witchcraft in Mark Twain can be found in disturbing reports of ritual animal killings.
I came across a pasture one time. It was full of deer, and the deer were all dead and mutilated. And I'm not talking 1 or 2 or 3, I'm talking like 20, 30. It was pretty weird and pretty unexplainable.
Why is Mark Twain National Forest a magnet for witchcraft and other sinister practices? What is being hidden from outsiders in the most remote corners of the forest? A shocking encounter could provide an explanation.
We're getting out to explore, and 2 men pulled up with shotguns. They're protecting the secret of the caves. They don't want it explored.
Since the dawn of time, water moving through Mark Twain National Forest has carved out a system of underground chambers in its volcanic hills. These caves, which number in the hundreds, are believed by some to conceal sinister phenomena. Vicious hellhounds, demonic figures, and shadowy practitioners of black magic. The cave system is also used as a hideout for people and things that need to stay concealed. In the 19th century, the legendary outlaw Jesse James hid from authorities in one of Mark Twain's caves and may have concealed his loot there.
He actually signed his name on the cave wall. So any cave that has, a history with famous robbers, it's always a legend that they buried something in there. Who knows? Maybe it just hasn't been found yet.
Some believe an even greater treasure is concealed deep inside the forest. 2000, a Native American shaman is led to a secret location by a tribal elder. He's been chosen to learn one of the tribe's greatest and most ancient secrets.
He was blindfolded and taken to this location. He did not know how he got there or where it was.
Opening his eyes, he finds himself inside a large cavern. On the walls, symbols in a language he doesn't recognize. Even stranger, the cavern is full of priceless treasures, thousands of years old.
It's an underground depository of ancient artifacts from all over the world that have been deposited in one area in the middle of the United States in a cave. And this ancient artifact of treasures is protected, and people are not welcome there.
Tribal elders call this place the Hall of Records.
The cave's been there forever. How it got there, who created it, I have no idea.
There are legends of halls of records all over the world. They supposedly hold, the history and science and the medicine of a lost civilization.
After hearing about the cave, Charles Teague sets out to locate the mysterious Hall of Records for himself. He becomes obsessed with the cave, searching for it for years. He finally locates it in Mark Twain National Forest, underneath an ancient earthwork structure known as the Missouri Mystery Mound. But Teague has never been able to explore the structure. Every time he's tried, he's been driven away by mysterious gunmen who guard it and keep the curious away.
We'd pulled up and we were getting out to explore, and two men pulled up with shotguns. They go, "What the hell are y'all doing?" And we looked at them, we were kind of scared. But we didn't know what was going on.
What secrets are gunmen protecting at the Missouri Mystery Mound? Could it be the key to a lost civilization?
I've always loved the thought of history as we know it not being complete. And if there have been past civilizations, and if one of them, buried their secrets here in Missouri, that would be one of the best stories I'd ever heard in my life.
Why is Mark Twain National Forest at the epicenter of so many unexplained activities? Some believe it may have something to do with a clue Charles Teague used to find the Hall of Records. That clue was a fault line located deep within Mark Twain National Forest. Known as the New Madrid Seismic Zone, its power is so great that it could explain many bizarre incidents in the area.
The earthquakes that happened were the strongest earthquakes that ever were experienced. The Mississippi River actually ran backwards.
No one can say what secrets are concealed in the darkest corners of Mark Twain National Forest, where terrifying hellhounds roam the backwoods. A demon guards sites of black magic, and a secret underground chamber contains treasures of long-lost civilizations. Why is this happening in Mark Twain National Forest? There may be an answer in an unusual event that took place over a century ago, when the New Madrid Seismic Zone unleashed a terrifying natural disaster.
The earthquakes that happened here in Missouri between December of 1811 and March of 1812 were the strongest earthquakes that ever were experienced in the American continent.
Areas including Mark Twain National Forest were hit by nearly 2,000 tremors over a 5-month period. The shaking was so violent that thousands of acres of virgin forest were toppled, and the geography of the region shifted radically.
The Mississippi River actually ran backwards. It changed its direction for several hours.
But the earthquakes also had strange and inexplicable effects, liquefying the ground in some areas and releasing a toxic black smog.
People during that time said that it was so black that the lamps wouldn't light the air and they couldn't breathe, and it smelled really, really bad.
In Mark Twain National Forest, some believe the New Madrid fault line discharged more than just black smoke. It may also have released demonic energy into the area. Powerful forces that some believe are still responsible for strange events in the forest today.
The paranormal activity is caused by the fault line. Just think of what's coming out of a fault line. The rubbing together of the plates and the things that cause earthquakes. That kind of dispensing of energy.
When you have a fault line, as large as the Madrid, nobody should be surprised that the Mark Twain National Forest is wrought with demons and monsters and ghosts, because you are directly accessing this underworld that we're completely unfamiliar with.
It's believed that it isn't just the fault line that causes strange activities in the forest. Some say the area's minerals amplify the effect.
There's lots of caves that were formed by blisters from the lava flowing, eons ago. And a lot of that is limestone. And the theory is that limestone and water is kind of a conduit for that, paranormal or supernatural energy.
Mark Twain National Forest is a mysterious place where the unknown hides deep within its thick growth in dark caves. Although a powerful place that demands respect, it will forever be at the mercy of unseen energies radiating from its core.
A lot of people that live around the Mark Twain National Forest still need to protect themselves from the evil and supernatural occurrences there.
The Mark Twain National Forest is deep. The surface is barely being scratched because we simply don't have access to it, at least without putting ourselves at risk.